How's it going, everybody? So, this is the new enemy. Well, old enemy depending on who you ask. Walls and the moves that lead you to splat on them are a hot topic right now. So we are going to talk about displacement heavies. Well, I guess we should make it attacks in general, as we have the Jormungandr rework looming on the horizon, so we better make up our mind what we think about these. Because I'm seeing a lot of over and knee-jerk reactions from everywhere in the community. I've not really made up my mind just yet. There are some clear issues with those moves, but identifying the core problem and how to approach it is not quite as simple in my eyes. There are many solutions to many problems, but agreeing on what the problem is probably the biggest issue today. Aphira is a new hero, and it takes time to adjust to new heroes, new reworks, new mechanics. Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it isn't. But let me just say this to everyone out there. Calm the fuck down first. Let's analyze this and then see how we can move forward. The claim that displacement attacks that Wallsplat are the problem seems a little far-fetched, for example. We've had them on Valkyrie and Nusha for years, and I've not seen anyone complain about them ever. They'd probably even make fun of the people that complain about it. I'd say the opposite actually. They're kinda useless and very rarely see any result when throwing them out. The problem with them is that they are, first of all, locked as a third attack in the chain, and then, depending on the character, they are hard to hit. Nusha has traps, so in theory, it's at least a mix-up for most players. In Valkyrie's case, it's just another 500 MS light, which doesn't really pose a threat to many players. Similarly to what Aphira's chain light heavy currently is, there is no extra threat to it. The other option being the in-chain kick gets avoided on the same dodge timing, and a normal blockable heavy has very little pressure to begin with. Most can probably agree that they've never, or very rarely even seen the normal displacement chain heavy from Aphira land. I don't think I have seen it, and if it landed for somebody, it was most likely a fluke. So we can assume nobody's complaining about the displacement heavy finisher, which throws the demand for removal of all displacement heavies out of the window already. I'll cycle back to that request in just a bit. So the problem lies more with how easy it is to get to that heavy, since Aphira has access to them from every bash. And if you watched any streamers or players in general, everyone throws the left heavy in hopes of reaching a wall. The 2 less damage are not a disincentive at all. That was what I assumed the devs wanted. You throw light or heavy in top or right stance, depending on fight situation. But no, everyone just throws left side. The benefits of getting the wall splat are too big. And no, I'm not talking about the infinite. We know that's getting fixed, so I'm not wasting my breath on that one again. So the ease of getting said wall splat and the resultant damage are 2 of the problems. I agree that it sometimes feels like I should have slid off the wall and not wall splat, but I assume that this is universal on all throws as well. I doubt we can get special rules just for these heavies where you need to hit a wall at a more restrictive angle. We've had this exact discussion during the George TG. Here the focus of the debate was on the guard break heavies. They did a lot of damage and confirmed a lot of damage, all the while being rather easy to get because of the unblockable and feintable bash pressure the character came with. The one thing everybody agreed on, and I assume the devs agreed with it too, was that George simply did too much damage. And it is the same with Aphira, I'd say. It is too much damage from one wrong read. It's not uncommon, and it shouldn't be uncommon, to get hit by one of her bashes. She does have 4 after all, meaning if they'd never hit, the kit would be shit. And since fighting, especially on non-square or round duel arenas, always happens with some obstacles around, those wall splats obviously happen quite a bit because of the frequency of bashes landing. So now the question I will pose is the same as with Jormungandr's old identity, Stamina Bully. Because when a Stamina Bully works, then it's a terrible experience to fight them. If the playstyle doesn't work, then it's a terrible experience to fight as them. There is no middle ground. Is it the same with displacement moves? If they're easy to get, then it feels bad. But if they're locked deep in a chain and don't land very often, then they feel somewhat useless. This is a big if here, since Aphira's kit doesn't revolve solely around the displacement. It is not the one identity the whole character is built around. And here I'm leaning very much towards that they're very much salvageable. You can make it work, especially since Wallsplats are not something you really want with multiple people around, because of the severe damage reduction they put on targets. They're somewhat detrimental and don't offer only upsides, like an out of stamina opponent clearly does. And the other big elephant in the room, the damage from getting the Wallsplat. Currently it's 16 plus 27. That would only be acceptable if it was on Lawbringer, but not really on any other hero. As a reminder, it was 24 plus 27 on George in the TG on Garbreak Heavy into Wallsplat Heavy. And one of the proposed changes here was to reduce the initial Garbreak Heavy way down in terms of damage. This should be a viable approach on Aphira as well. Somebody is fishing for non-stop Wallsplats by throwing left side heavy, then reduce the damage of that left side heavy, and I mean dramatically. I'm talking 5 damage, because 5 plus 27 is still a massive punish for a single bash. Making players think about when to use what and choosing the correct move should be rewarded. Blind coping shouldn't. But as I said in the very beginning of this video, I haven't really made up my mind here, but I fully agree that the damage is too high. What approach Ubisoft will take to fix this, I don't know. I don't know either whether they even think it's a problem. But maybe they have a more elegant solution to the problem. We'll see. But I hope they take a scalpel to the problem and not a chainsaw like the community is proposing at the moment. You let me know what you think down below. Hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.